Starting off with stainless steel drive shaft, brass bead locks, these gnarly, chunky Kraken tires. Look at that, the Fury Tech Lizard Pro Komodo brushless system. Let's get into it. First, let us put all this to one side because we actually need to get into the thing. So I've had a look at this and there are a number of screws holding this lid on. Okay, I was finally able to get that body off, which was an absolute pain, which means we will need to figure out a new way to secure that body, but that is not going to happen right now. What is going to happen right now is we're going to double check A, was this the right purchase, and B, how quickly can we put it back on? Yeah, it's good that I'm doing this before you do. When you are going to upgrade this, maybe you're going to do the engine, maybe you're going to do the gearbox or the drive shafts, how much work it is actually to get this thing back together, because now it looks like that these two bolts, they just take off this half of the transmission. Why are we doing this anyway? What's the purpose? Well, this is the Evo, and this has the 2-speed gearbox, but it comes with a brush system. But if you want both brushless and 2-speed, this is the way to do it. You get the Fury Tech 1212, and you put it in this machine, and you will have a brushless 2-speed, which is not offered on the market as yet. Okay, so we got the motor on. The mounting position. So now next step is to replace those mounting screws. Before I do all of that, I'm going to replace this drive shaft because that is going to be a pain in the... My assumption is the long one. It's the same as the real one. That's well, anyway, we've got that. That's the rear. Very good. Now we can mount this, thread that through. All right, lovely. We are making progress here. I think we've got it. So to recap, you'll need to remove this screw and this screw, and this screw and this screw to get this piece off, which you can mount this motor to, okay? And so now it is all back together, it's ready to go back in the truck. The short arm is on the front, long arm on the back. You can also tell by this gear shifter is on the back. So let's get ready to mount that back up. But before we do, let's pull off these drive shafts off the... We're on the home straight now, this is great. Now, for the wheels, these little brass wheels. These are 1 inch. Just mocked this one up to see if it would work, and I think it will work quite nicely. The next step will be to mount these wires on, and I think I'll do it like this. And there you go. So now that they're all mounted up, they are ready to fit on the truck. Now remember, these are directional tires, which means that they have one direction that they can be mounted on. So you must make sure that 2 are mounted where the direction of the tires is going that way for the outside of the wheel, and 2 are going the other way, so that when you turn them around and put them on the truck, they're all facing the right way. So just remember that when you're mounting up directional tires. Okay, hopefully that helps. Now, this little wrench that came with the truck, get these tiny little nuts off. Okay, so this is backwards. These normally go the tread like a triangle or an arrow towards the front. When the tread hits the ground, it creates like a plow that will give a lot of traction, particularly in mud or sort of slippery situations. A lot of people I see mounting them backwards to be like a shovel, but that will only scoop up and give traction to the area of the tire. However, if they're mounted more like the plow style that I said at the beginning, that will actually give traction slightly beyond the tire's tread. I took the foams out of these, so it'll just sit on the air within there, and that will bag out beautifully, which will give a lot more traction. So we'll just put that. They're slightly taller as well, these tires. If I try and square these up with the hole, they're slightly larger. See that? They're slightly larger, and that tread is quite a lot deeper, and there's a lot more negative space in that tread, which will allow this tread to sink into whatever medium I'm driving over. I'm gonna make sure that they are sealed nicely. So this, sometimes it is easier to start the nuts off by hand, and I do wish I had a better tool than this, but the toolkit I bought doesn't go on this size, so I'm managing with what I've got, and luckily this came with the truck, so I'm able to still perform this operation. We learn together on Mighty Micros. One of the first lessons would be have your work and not try and do it while you're on holiday with no gear. But anyway, that's how we're starting Mighty Micros here. I'm going to be moving city in about 3 weeks, and I'll be unpacking all of my stuff. I will have a plethora of tools when I arrive. I'll also have access to my other 18th scale. That is a RC four-wheel drive Galande 1/18th scale, the Defender D90 body that I have modified, and I would love to show you that one. It's coming in a few weeks. But there you go, that is done. Now, I have been troubleshooting this ESC motor receiver setup, and it looks like I may need to update this receiver to work perfectly with this motor and ESC. That means that we cannot finish this build in this video. However, that is fine, because I should be able to research and find the right one to go with this. So let's use a bit of movie magic and be like, okay, so I have found the solution to this whole mess, and that is to use this Lizard Pro ESC. But we have to swap out this receiver for a new one, and that is actually not as complicated as it might first seem. We are going with the FlySky GT5. That will solve this whole problem. It will also not matter about the change of connector, because we won't be using these little PH, I think they're called. We will in fact be using the original connector from the servo. So this is all essentially useless. However, I don't know, sometime in the future we might use this to save ourselves buying a new one. However, this will connect to the new receiver. However, I might need to get an extension for that. That's fine. This will connect into this, like this. This will also connect into the receiver, and we will be able to stick them all. But then we will have the ultimate CR18P, the brushless power 2-speed transmission with these gnarly tires on these brass beads. They have added so much weight to this thing, and plus we've got those stainless drive shafts. And it was timely. When I was pulling this off, I realized, why is this being so difficult? It's already been torque twisted. When I was driving on the rocks, I must have twisted that by giving it a little too much juice. And yeah, that can no longer go all the way back in. So, very, very timely upgrade. This is the moment of truth. Flick the on switch and see if it does anything. It works. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is the mock-up. Now we have to figure out how to get all of this working together. So to the car, I believe, and that's a spare one, so I don't know, maybe I could seal that off or something, but anyway, so that's the charger kit. There's the batteries, 2 of them. They're nearly the same size as the, what did it come with, a 600? It came with a 600 or a 500 milliamp, and this is like nearly the same size, so that's definitely a bonus, definitely a win. So rubbish out of my life, please. All right, now what we have been waiting for, the big boss. Do I have anything that will cut this? It will be for this, and we can use something like a flathead screwdriver maybe to open this up. So let's just get to it. Unboxing. I didn't know this was supposed to be a upgrade video. It's become an unboxing video. We'll see how much of this makes it into the final card. Oh, here we go. All right, let's check that out. Fan dabby dubby dozy. Look at this. FlySky FS GT5 digital proportional radio control system. Fantastic. So this is exactly what we've been looking for. Comes in this neat little box too. How nice is this? Here we go. Manual. We'll need that later. Part of the handle, I guess. Alright, so the biggest part will be the remote, which, yes, we can get to that. But today we are looking for this little guy. Oh my god, the savior to all our problems.
Okay, this is how we get a brushless system with the 2-speed in the Trail Hunter. Whew. This has been like a week in the making, waiting for this to come in the post. So let's get a bit tidied up here, so you don't have to watch me do all of this. Okay, the remote. So we're gonna have to throw some batteries in here. Okay, if you're thinking about buying one of these, it needs 4 AA. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4 AA batteries to get this thing going. And yeah, I'm sure there's heaps of reviews about this. In fact, I've watched them on YouTube. I don't know. You can Google it or YouTube search for that. There are plenty. I won't profess to know everything about this controller and receiver, but I do know that it has all the plugs I need to get this machine working. This Beauty and the Beast. Mighty Micros, this is complete, and in the next episode, which I'll put on the screen around here, we craft a little box to go on the back of this body. So click on that now, and I'll see you there.